Mike Fisher in Frisco, where we're getting ready for Cowboys at Bengals, and I'm a little stunned that there's not more outrage at what I found in a season of outrage and a week of outrage. I think it might be the most outrageous thing that the Cowboys have done all year, which is admit that they've got an effort problem. Wow. Jerry Jones, one of his great football sayings, his football man sayings, is, Mr. Mack, there's a lot of kind of important abilities, but the most important ability is availability. Get it? Availability. Showing up, being healthy, trying. If you're not trying, you're not really available. Oh, you're available on Tuesdays when the paycheck rolls into your bank account, direct deposit, and you're available because you're there at practice, and you're available because you lined up against the Browns to pick one. That was in September when I first addressed this issue, and Mike McCarthy wagged his finger at us. Against Washington when it was glaring, and then against Baltimore when Mike McCarthy finally had to admit it. There's an effort problem. Now, I've told you this before. I really believe this. I'm getting ready to go in and work out. Okay? It's a 45-minute workout. It's an hour workout. It's 15 minutes of cardio and 45 minutes weights. Okay? Before 2 years ago, I'd never done the weight thing in my life. That was a mistake. So now my core is stronger than it ever is. All the things I can do in a weight room are better than they've ever been in my whole life. That ain't bragging. It's still not, probably still not as good as you, but it's good for me. And it's effort. It's effort to show up five times a week. 5 times a week now, it's effort. And then every day I go for an hour and 20-minute walk. This ain't bragging. This is just me demonstrating how even I put out some level of effort that's beyond what I've ever done before in my entire life. Therefore, I don't think it's too much to ask that a pro football player making $1 million or $5 million or 15 or 20, that they put out effort. Xavier Woods earlier in the year said, well, you can't really expect, us to go 70 miles an hour all the time. And I get what he meant. I think what he meant is when you or me are playing in a softball game and I hit a pop-up to the pitcher, I don't run quite as fast to first base as I do if I hit a double down the right field line. I think that's what he meant. But Tank Lawrence questioned effort earlier in the year. And then when we brought it up to Mike McCarthy, he said, basically, how dare you? No, not how dare we. This isn't our idea. I'm very hesitant to say that about an NFL player, that he's not trying. Woods said it. Tank said it. Not me, Coach. So now here we are. And that was the Cleveland game that really made that stand out. And I said at the time, part of this is because of the scheme. They've installed a scheme that the players don't understand. They ask too much of them. They try to do too much too soon in teaching, and the players are confused. And I believed that then, and I still think there's some of that going on now. But then came the Washington game, and right out, Cowboys commit a turnover, and next thing you know, the Washington players running for a 29-yard touchdown untouched. Like untouched. Like as if nobody's trying. Nobody much talked about it. You did. I did, but a little bit. But the Cowboys certainly didn't. Not openly. Then comes the Baltimore game. Now we've got 27, 29, 37, 39-yard runs. And nobody's touching a Raven on these runs. We got short yardage touchdown runs. Nobody's touching a Raven. He's going in untouched. It's ridiculous. And just when you or I wanted to say, That looks like a lack of effort. We didn't have to make some ridiculous accusation because McCarthy said it in a team meeting on Thursday at the Star. McCarthy addressed the lack of effort. He said, we have an effort issue. He told his players this. And then we learned about it. And then Zeke Elliott talked about it and said, yes, it's frustrating, but you just can't have guys around here who don't give an F, suggesting that maybe they do. Jalen Smith addressed it. Again, Jalen Smith sometimes looks lost on defense. I think that's fair. Whether that's because there's something missing athletically or whether there's just confusion over what we're supposed to be doing. But I would never accuse Jalen Smith of lacking heart. That's ridiculous. Except Jalen Smith is saying we were lacking in effort. We're getting criticized by our coach, rightfully, for the one thing you should never do wrong, that you should never have to get criticized for. It should never be brought up, effort. It should never have to be brought up, effort. Of all the things that the Cowboys have screwed up this year, and it's a long list, that has caused them to be 3-9, getting ready for the Bengals in what could be tankerific this game. That is the most damning indictment, that the Cowboys players and coaches now are admitting openly we're not trying hard enough. We're not working hard enough. We're not giving enough effort. It is the worst thing I can say about a pro football player, which is why I say it so rarely. You know, there's certain things, again, in this politically charged time, things have changed. But in my day, there's certain things we really didn't talk about in public. You know, you really didn't talk about your sexuality in public. You can wear your religion on your sleeve, your faith on your sleeve, but you know that's something that you have to think twice before discussing. And then politics. Again, all three of those things are gone now. Now all we do on social media is talk about sex, politics, and religion. That's all anybody does. But in my day, we were a little more cautious about that. And all along my day, including today, accusing another man of not having heart, I don't do much of that. I don't like doing that. I'm not comfortable with it because you better be right. This goes to the labels thing. Like, if you call somebody a murderer, a rapist, or a racist, those three, that's hard to ever get rid of. That label. So you better be right when you say that about somebody. Otherwise, you've just destroyed them, and you're wrong. You've just destroyed them. Same thing here. I think it would be very destructive of me to say, I watched the Ravens game, and in my observation, that guy, and that guy aren't trying. They aren't giving effort. I think that would be destructive of me. It might even be irresponsible of me, reckless of me. Except this time, I didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say it. I didn't have to wonder it. You didn't have to wonder it. Wade Phillips got fired for this. Cowboys at Green Bay 11 years ago, it was clear that the Cowboys players had given up, and Wade Phillips got fired the next day. I'm not calling for that. I'm not calling for the fire. Well, Mike Nolan, whether it's 2 days from now or 4 weeks from now, that's fair. But I'm not calling for people's heads. I'm not demanding people get fired. I am asking for accountability. And Mike McCarthy keeps talking about accountability. And then the next breath says, well, we have an effort problem. Then you're not being accountable. And neither are your players. You got to fix this. And whether it's different coaching, different players, different teaching, different attitude, you got to fix this. If you have now the cancer in your building of not trying, you cannot win. If you've allowed that in yourself, I'm about to go in here and not allow it in myself, into the workout. If you allow it in yourself, you cannot win. If you allow it in a coach, you cannot win. And we might have just found the core reason that the Dallas Cowboys cannot win. They have an effort issue, and they know it. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll be around all weekend long, before, during, and after Cowboys-Bengals. So tell your friends where you can get the straight stuff from Fish in Frisco. Fish.